Good morning, beautiful ladies, and welcome to another day of our Respect Dare 40 Days to a Deeper Connection with God and with your husband. Today, we are on Dare 20 Blow Dryer Briefs. So, the verse is Philippians 2 3 to 4. Do nothing from selfish or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look out for your personal interest, but also for the interest of others. I love these verses. And in this devotional today, she talks about this woman who who forgot to put the white clothing to dry because she was working late and she came home and she was tired and she just forgot, right? But the next morning her husband has no underwear to wear. So I love how she begins this by saying life is always more fun and interesting when we choose a good attitude. I love that because that is my choice. I believe that wholeheartedly. So she goes ahead in the morning and she realizes that she forgot, right? So she takes only that one underwear. Obviously, we all know that when we have one single thing in the dryer, it's gonna dry faster. So she takes that one underwear and she puts it in the dryer, and she is hoping that it has enough time to dry by the time her husband is done doing whatever it is that he does in the morning to get ready to go to work. And the way that she plays it out, it's beautiful, because she could have been like, oh crap, I forgot and whatever, and then she could have told her husband, oh, but you didn't even help me, you saw the clothes there, like whatever, it could have gone a million ways, but she never complained, she never said anything, she never even gave it a second thought. She went on about her day, in the morning, and she simply put it to dry, and it wasn't dry enough. She came to the bathroom and she started blow drying it with a blow dryer, and it's so cool because her husband notices and he's like, oh my gosh, you're blow drying my underwear, thank you. Like he was actually grateful that she was doing that for him, but because of her attitude, right? Like she never stopped to complain, she never stopped to say that she forgot. No, she simply noticed, she went on about doing what she needed to do for it to be ready, and that was that, right? So I really love how she chose her attitude well. And it says here, bottom line, love sacrificially and creatively, and you will speak volumes to your husband. So her husband's love language was probably acts of service, and that's why it was so impactful to him, right? It could be, we don't know, she doesn't say that, but the point is that it's beautiful to love sacrificially when we are not expecting anything in return for our love. What I have learned is that we humans love to please other humans we love, right? And it doesn't make us people pleaser. No, we humans love to make other humans we love. And we get that from God, because God so loves to please us, right? There is a verse that is one of my favorites. It says, delight yourself in me and I'll fulfill the desires of your heart. Psalms 37:4. So if he loves to fulfill the desires of our hearts and we are made in his image, obviously we love to fulfill the desires of our loved ones' hearts, right? We love to please them. What differs from it being fear of man and people pleasing from it being truly the image of God is the motive behind. The actions could look exactly the same, but if our motivation is fear, then it becomes fear of man. Then it becomes people pleasing because it goes above and beyond our own ability to give, our own ability to do what's right for us too, right? And that's not okay. It's never okay to do anything moved by fear, right? And and when we're doing it because we are made in the image of God and we simply want to please the people around us, we're doing it truly out of love. And love has boundaries. Love has limits. I don't mean limits as into how much you love. I mean limits as in boundary. Okay, so that's really out of topic, but I really yeah, I really felt led to share that with you because I think that sometimes we are too afraid of being people pleasers and we end up not doing anything to please others. And we end up not being able to love sacrificially out of fear of being people pleasing. Does that make sense? So it does have something to do at the end of the day. Well, my point is that the action looks the same, and a lot of times we may have a really hard time recognizing our motive behind it because truly we love that person, and we think we're doing it out of love. So I think that we can take a moment and ask ourselves, how is doing this affecting my well-being, because for this lady it's not affecting her well-being in a negative way. On the contrary, it's affecting it in a positive way. So she's doing it out of love. Does that make sense? But a lot of times we will figure out through questioning ourselves that it's really out of fear of rejection, fear of not being liked, fear of not being accepted, so we just have to make sure that our motivation is love, because love is sacrificial, and it's sacrificial because it's not about us, right? But at the same time, we need to make sure that we are okay and we are whole to be able to love. Okay, so that's where the motivation plays in. So I love how she says at the end, she says, your husband may be insensitive. You may have come all this way and not even received a single thank you or had him notice anything at all that you have done. Recognize now that your selfless has not gone unseen or unnoticed, and you are not alone in this experience. Remember, we're not doing this for our husbands. We're not even doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for God, because this is what God has called us to do. And this is what God has called us to be, respectful wives. So therefore, if he didn't notice, guess what? It's okay. You keep on doing, okay? And you keep on doing well. All right. So, on this part where it says, hold. So what about you? The first question is really, I don't know if you notice, about what is your husband's love language, right? People typically experience love the way that they're most comfortable giving it. So, what is your husband's love language? I'm going to include on the description of the video the link to Gary Chapman's 5 love language test. It's free. You can just go in and do it. And if you have never done it, I'm sure all of you have, because it's very popular. It's been around for a very long time. But if you have never done it, just do it. And if you have done it, do it again, because sometimes it changes, and have your husband do it too, so that you two can talk about it, you can discuss it, and you can just grow together in that sense. But one thing that I wanted to mention is that even if you have the same love language, we are different people, so therefore we receive and give in different ways, even in the same language. It's like if I'm from Miami and somebody's from Tennessee, we both speak English, but our accent is different. It's the same thing. It's the same language, but you're speaking it differently. You're speaking it with your own accent. Okay, so for instance, my love language is quality time. Quality time for me is sitting down eye to eye, face to face, and talking and sharing my heart and having somebody understand me, and really, having the opportunity to connect at an intimate level. That for me is quality time. When I pack my bags and I go visit my friend, in Tampa or wherever else I have friends, in California, and I take time out of my week, out of my day, out of the things that I have to do, and I pause everything to go and to visit. That for me is quality time. That for me speaks love. But for my husband, it's different. His love language is quality time too. But for him, quality time is shoulder to shoulder. It's not eye to eye, it's shoulder to shoulder. Just having me sit by him and talk nothing, like not talk at all because he prefers not to talk. Just having me sit next to him is quality time for him. Going out and doing activities together, taking a walk, going shooting, going to watch a baseball game. Those things to him is quality time, because we are together. It's shoulder to shoulder. My presence alone is energizing him. Does that make sense? So if that is quality time to him, then that needs to be how I am willing to give him quality time that he needs. He needs, this is something that I have learned that I didn't know before, is that he needs that quality time, intimate friendship just as much as I do, but it looks different to him than it does to me. So we both are responsible for giving each other's love language, in a way that we receive. Although we're speaking the same language, we're speaking with different accents. For him, it's shoulder to shoulder. For me, it's face to face, right? So when we agree to do a little bit of both, then we're both happy and we're both building this intimate friendship between ourselves that is untouchable and that it's unshakable. Does that make sense? So it's important for us to understand that even though we're speaking the same language, we have different accents, and that we are respectful of each other's accents, and if you're going to watch a movie with him, because that to him is quality time, is shoulder to shoulder, your presence is energizing him, then agree that before the movie you're gonna have dinner, even if it's at home, and you're gonna sit across from each other and you're gonna get to chat and you're gonna get to talk and have a glass of wine or whatever it is that you like. So anyways, my point is that talk about these things so that you're able to commit and compromise in loving each other in a way that you're actually feeling loved and feeling respected. But again, this is not about us. This is about, us doing it for them. So for the sake of this, I wanted to share all of that with you because it's so exciting to me to learn these things and to be able to share. But for the sake of this today, our dare is to love him in a way that he feels loved, right? And to respect in a way that he feels respected. Okay, so the dare for today, reflect on this concept of sacrificial love, discussing it prayerfully in your spirit with God, writing down any enlightenments that you have and the thoughts that he brought you. So some of these things are things that I had the revelation of while I'm sitting down having conversations with God, and as I'm learning these things, I'm becoming a better human, I'm becoming a better wife, and consequently my husband is becoming a better human and a better husband too, so it becomes a mutual thing. Begin taking action towards the 3 demonstrations of love from your earlier questions. So that is your dare for today. And I just encourage you to reflect on some of these things we talked about and see if any of this makes sense to you, if any of this can be true to you as well. Again, I'm including the little link for the love languages, and I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to ask your husband to do it, and then I encourage you to sit down and have a conversation with him, honest conversation, not only what is your love language, but what does this look like to you? If your love language is acts of service, then what does it look like to you? Because like taking the garbage is your responsibility, so it's really not an act of service. So what does it look like? Does that make sense? So and things like that. So I encourage you to do those things. I hope you're growing from all of this, and I can't wait to hear from you and to hear what you think and what your love language is and how you discussed that with your husband and how that conversation went and all of the things. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. Mwah. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.